Hey, what's up, guys? Build the universe, and I am going to be talking about the beautiful Ms. Rihanna. And this is on the suggestion from Ms. Tinkerbella. So thank you, Ms. Tinkerbella, for that. I'm kind of surprised I didn't do her chart already. I don't know. I kind of like to do people's charts when they are like really hot in the press. Um, and I kind of like am a little bit too late on that. She's kind of been like super, super hot in media for like 10 years straight and then kind of dipped a little bit when she did her makeup line. But I do think she's super fascinating and very beautiful. And it's super interesting that I'm um, doing this whole video just from my phone because I know it's possible and kids do it all the time. So that means I can do it too. I would do things on my laptop and then, make it nice and be a little bit more old fashioned. But I'm just like, no, I can do this from my phone. I just have to try. So the reason why I think that's cool that this is the first video I've done from my phone is because that's very Revati. And Revati is a star in Pisces. So this is the moon placement of Rihanna. Rihanna is a Pisces moon, okay? She's a Revati moon. Yeah. So Pisces Revati is the very last star in Pisces before you go back, make the full revolution to Aries again. So the last star is the star closest to the first star of Aries. This is a very, very intense star. And not intense in a Scorpio way, but intense as in like next level. This is like people who are on the brink of the forefront of humanity, of technology, of everything like that, of civilization. They seem weird, but they are actually on the forefront of what the future holds. And so it's interesting because last night I was thinking about Revati as well. And I was watching this Netflix show on how big Jurassic Park, what a big impact that movie made on civilization, specifically in technological animation, and it was funny because they were saying how the people who used to do stop animation, like back in the old days when they would make dinosaurs, the way this certain young guy who I looked up is a Revati son. The way he would computer animate the dinosaurs, it put everyone else out of a job. And everyone else who was fired by Steven Spielberg said, "We are extinct now." And that's so interesting because that is exactly what this Revati star is. Now, the author of Jurassic Park is also a Revati moon, just like Rihanna. I'm going to make all these connections in a minute. Just give me a second. Hear me out. And so the same guy who wrote Jurassic Park, the reason why it interested him as a Revati moon is because it was really about genome, DNA genome, and biological like manipulation and the dangers of biological manipulation and genomical manipulation. So the same guy who wrote Jurassic Park also wrote Westworld. And if you've seen Westworld, that's like the same thing. It's modifying robots to be so realistic that people think they're just basically real. And you should see Westworld. It's pretty crazy. And that's exactly what the theme was for like the making these dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, was that it was the next evolutionary step in technology, making these dinosaurs not just look scary or whatever, but look just so real, And so this is a very like scientific, mathematical, future-oriented star. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, if for all you Rihanna fans, you let me know. But this would suggest that she's actually very, very wrapped up around the future and what technology has to hold. And she's very involved in, she can be involved in like robotics. She can have a very mathematical mind. She can have a very like progressive mind. That's a really, really good word to describe Revati, is very progressive. um and this is Pisces, and so she has that classic, those classic characteristics of Pisces. So like Pisces rules the feet, so this makes them really good dancers. This makes them very beautiful. Like Pisces women are like stunning. And in ancient Hindu astrology, um Revati, they when they would describe Revati, they would say that these people's beauty can be spotted in a crowd of thousands. And that's very true. I mean, I didn't even like Rihanna's music when she first came out. I thought she was pretty, and I just kind of disregarded it. I'm like an old soul. Like I grew up listening to 70s and 60s music. I'm a moron. But but like somewhere when I was like 25, I don't know why, for some reason I just was like, let me give Rihanna a chance, you know? And so I started listening to her music, and I was like watching her movies, stuff like that. And I was like, damn, this girl is beautiful. Like she, even when she was like in the movies she did when she wasn't wearing makeup, I was like, she can't even like try to be unattracted. She's just so beautiful. And the another woman who is a Revati native is Angelina Jolie. And I'm trying to think. Heath Ledger is also a Revati native. Um, I can. Those are the only actors I can think of at the top of my head. But there are many people, especially women, that their sun or moon is in Revati, and they're just so beautiful. And it was so funny because remember how I said the author of Jurassic Park, Michael Crichton, he also wrote the book for Westworld in the 80s. And you know who told me about Westworld was my friend, who's super handsome, and everyone loves him. Like, there's no girl that doesn't think he's total cutie. And he is also, no, he's not a Revati native, but he does have like three outer planets, like Mars or Venus or something like that. He has like three outer planets in Revati, and he's very beautiful. And he also is a very mathematical, very genius type of person. He's actually a doctor. He's an anesthesiologist. um and he's the one who told me like you should watch Westworld. Is really good. So I think it's so funny how Revati kind of like unconsciously like gravitates, like pulls towards each other. So Jupiter rules Pisces. Yes, but in Jyotish, in ancient Hindu astrology, each star is ruled by its own planet. So Revati itself is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is very youthful. So it's funny because every time I see Rihanna in my like Instagram feed or something like that, it's always talking about how beautiful she is, even though she's growing older. People are like, look at her when she was 17. Now look at her now. And it's like, yeah, there's no fucking difference. I don't see any fucking difference. I mean, I get it, 31 and isn't exactly old, and you can still pull it off like very well at 31. 31's not old. It's not. It's very young. But still, I mean, the point is that people are saying that she's not aging at all. And that's because Mercury is ruling her moon. Mercury, when you look at someone's chart, when you want to when you want to find out about their children or something like that, you can look at their Mercury placement. Mercury and Moon both deal with children. So even the Mercury ruled Rashis, Gemini and Virgo, when people have a lot of Virgo and Gemini in their chart, a lot of times they'll be teachers. So like I am a Virgo moon myself, and I'm a piano teacher. And the thing is that not Virgo, Mercury also rules the hands. So I wonder if she has talented hands, you know. Y'all tell me. Oh, you know what? I think she does makeup tutorials, doesn't she? That would be a very big hand thing. Does she do the tutorials herself? I don't know. Like, I really don't really pay that much attention to Rihanna, but that actually is part of why I did her chart. I'm doing her chart is because I don't. I feel like I can be fair and objective. I don't know too much about her. Now, here's interesting, very interesting. I'm looking at her sun. Her sun is an Aquarius, specifically the star of Shatabisha. Okay, so Shatabisha is a star in Aquarius. So she's an Aquarius sun. She's a Shatabisha sun. So when I see men that have Shatabisha sun, they're actually quite rude, and they're very like they tell it the way it is. They're very aggressive in their speech. They're very regulating type people. And I guess she can be that way. I don't see her being a rude person. But this is also a very mathematical, very engineering, very technological placement. So not only is her moon, her Revati moon, a very technological placement, but also her Shatabisha sun is a very technological placement. So, for example, Steve Jobs, he was a Shatabisha moon. Like I said, very, very technological, very, very mathematical, engineering type of mind. So y'all tell me, I wonder if she's involved in like anything mathematical, if she's has like an engineering mindset. This, I'm not gonna lie, this like, ignoring the fact that it's Rihanna, just looking at the chart, it gives me like a very engineering mindset. This kind of, oh, she's a Revati ascendant as well. Wow, so her moon is in her ascendant. Interesting. When I see people whose moon is an ascendant, you know what it automatically makes me think of? Drinking. Y'all tell me, is she a heavy drinker? Does she drink a lot, or does she smoke a lot? Because moon in the first house makes people kind of want to be seduced by what's that word I'm trying to think of? Substance. Yeah, they like substances. So, not to say that they're addicts, but they can be people who really like to indulge in drink or smoke. And the fact that she's a double Revati placement, this is like extreme beauty. And what I also heard, now I know this is kind of like crass and like rude of me to say, but I heard women who were ruled by Rahu, because Rahu ruled Shatabisha, the star within Aquarius, which is her sun. I heard like Rahu ruled women really prefer like big dicks. So I wonder if it makes me wonder if what's his name, what's that rapper she's married to? I know she's married to that rapper, ASAP Rocky. I wonder if he has a big dick, which I used to actually wonder, because like when he first came out, I was actually like super attracted to him. Okay, moving on. So her Venus, wow, her Venus is in her first house. Damn, no wonder, and her Rahu's in her first house. Okay. Oh, Porva Bada. Okay, let me look at her actual chart. So she has Rahu, Venus, and Moon in the first house. Damn. Okay. Okay, so Rahu in the first house. This is saying a lot here. First of all, Rahu conjunct, she's got her Rahu in her first house. Rahu first house women are very beautiful. I notice a lot of them have wide eyes and very smooth skin, and they're very pretty. And the other thing I noticed is that Rahu in the first house, they actually really desire to be famous. The two biggest indicators for fame, let me tell you the three biggest indicators for fame is Rahu in the first, Rahu in the 10th, and Moon in the 12th. And she has this placement. She has Rahu in the first. Why? Rahu is very creative. Rahu is a creative genius. Rahu likes to create an illusion, because Rahu is deceptive in general. So Rahu likes to create an illusion. Rahu likes to create like a fantasy for you to fall seducted to, for you to kind of get lost in. So so for Rahu to be in the first house, which is the house of the body, this means that her body can be very beautiful, very seductive, that her whole aura is very beautiful and very seductive. But also, But that's very much fame, because fame isn't real. You know, like what we see on TV is not what actually is. So that's why Rahu in the first house is very good for fame. So the astrology, so she's got, also she has Venus in her first house. um, this can mean a couple things. One, this Venus is actually a warrior, to be honest. Like Mars is a warrior too, but Mars is a warrior because they like to do what's right and they like to serve the king and they like to fight for their fellow man. They like to fight for the common man. But Venus is a very good warrior too, simply because Venus is very comfortable with blood. Venus is very comfortable with gore. Venus is a very tumultuous planet, actually. You know, in literally the planet of Venus is the most hostile planet, you know. And so Venus in the first house, and a lot of military people, you'd be surprised, are in fact Venus ruled. So like I did what's his name's chart? The president of Putin, Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. You know, when he attacked Ukraine earlier this year, I did his chart, and he has Venus in the first house. And Venus is usually associated with the arts, with beauty. So what the hell is this planet, this sensual, beautiful, artistic planet, doing in the first house of someone who is a dictator, who is a merciless dictator? You know, because Venus is very militant. And I do know that that Rihanna did do a movie where she was in the military, right? Wasn't she in the ROTC? I could be wrong, but yeah, this suggests that she actually could have been in the military. That she has a very militant type of fight. She has a lot of like stamina. She can really, really hold it down, and she's not afraid of blood and gore. And Venus in the first house, the astrologer Claire Nakti did a study of like 1,000 of the most beautiful people, like everyone on people's world's sexiest men or sexiest man alive, all the models from Victoria's Secret. Like she did everyone who was considered beautiful, and it was like the most exaggerated results. It was like 85% of all of them had Venus in the first house. And she's no exception. She is exceptionally beautiful. She has Venus in the first house. Beyonce has Venus in the first house. I think Penelope Cruz has Venus in the first house. There's so many people. Like I can't even begin to to talk about it. How many beautiful people have Venus in the first house, and she's no exception. And Moon, she also has Moon in the first house. I already said this. You know, Moon is very beautiful too. Moon is like the cosmic princess. So it's funny. Don't they call her like the princess of R&B or something like that? So I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's why, because she has a very youthful vitality. She's very youthful. You know, she's got a lot of Mercury. She's got Rahu. She's very Mercury influenced, which makes her young and good with her hands, good at the arts. She's very Moon influenced, which makes her very taken care of. You know, and it's funny because Jay-Z was her manager or boss or something like that. He's the one responsible for her fame, right? Well, he is sun influenced because his sun is in Uttara Falguni, which is ruled by the sun. And for her to have Moon in first house, that means she's a Moon woman. So it's funny how like they kind of were searching for their perfect match because Moon matches really well with Sun. So she's a Moon woman. Jay-Z is a Sun man. So I think that's very, very interesting. Yeah, there's a lot more too. I guess I could go on. So, okay, one last thing. So, 10th house. So, 10th house is like how people see you. Okay, the difference between 10th house and first house really talks about the body. Okay, that's really a personal. That's very much that's just you. But the 10th house is the public persona. That's how people see you. So, when she's got Mars and Saturn in the first house. So, when Mars is in the 10th house. Did I say first house? I'm sorry. She got Mars and Saturn in the 10th house. When you have Mars in the 10th house, Mars is very sexual. Mars is not afraid to take their clothes off and show their body. They are very comfortable showing their body. They like to show off their body. They like to be the I don't want to say center of attention because that sounds vain, but they like to be the center of desire. Like when people want to gather around and admire a work of art, a Mars woman is what usually the person who will take their clothes off. So, for example, a lot of models, high fashion models, like Cindy Crawford, Tyra Banks, they are actually ruled by Mars. And so is what's her name? Marilyn Monroe. She's a Danishta moon that is ruled by Mars. So Mars women are very admired for their beauty. And for the fact that her Mars is in her 10th house, that means they're very admired. People immediately see their sexuality. Shakira has her Mars in the 10th house. Beyonce has her Mars in the 10th house. I have my Mars in the 10th house. That's not proving my point. But anyway, she's also got Saturn in the 10th house. This is very authoritative. This is very wise. So when people see her, they also see an authority figure. They see someone who is high up in the ranks, someone who is an elite level. Saturn people work and earn their shit. They are, for her to have Venus in the first house, Rahu in the first house, and Saturn in the 10th house, that means that she's someone who is naturally fit to be the judge, to be the top. And she worked her way through it, and this was a desire of hers. Now also Saturn in the 10th house makes a really good teacher. And remember how I said that Mercury can be really good with kids and be good a teacher? So I wonder if she ever wanted to be a teacher. I think that this will be a good parent. She might be a bit like hard. Like she's a hard woman, but I do think that she will be a good parent as well. Yeah, I think that's enough. Let me look. How far am I? 23 minutes? Oh shit. Yeah, I'm good. All right, guys. I think that's enough. Love you guys. Bye.